And Carlo Colaiacovo, Craig Button also joining us in on this conversation. So a couple years into the rear view, as we look back on Tavares, he's been here for 2 years, no playoff success, but his numbers have still been off the charts. At least his first year was off the charts. MJ, we'll begin with you. Looking back in hindsight, do you still feel like that was the right signing for the Maple Leafs?
Hindsight? No, of course not, because they haven't won. It's not about John Tavares and the way he's played. He's been fantastic. He's the captain. He's been full value for his contract. But the bottom line is they don't have unlimited funds. They have to allocate their dollars to try to put the best team together to have them win, not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs. And 2 years, presumably the best 2 years of John Tavares. He's only going to get older every single day and eventually slow down a little bit. And they haven't been able to accomplish what they signed him to accomplish, which is not to be competitive, which is not to win lots of regular season games, but to advance in the playoffs. So hindsight being what it is, the fact that the first 2 years of this contract, the best 2 years, and they haven't won, I wouldn't do it.
Carlo, where do you stand on this?
I'm going to have to disagree with Johnny. I still think that the move is a great move. At the time they did it, he was the best player out there. I think he's been very productive in his 2 years in Toronto. I mean, his first year he scored the most goals in his career in 47. I think last year he could have easily hit the 30-goal mark. But just like with the way every team is built, you need to be built through the center ice. They have Austin Matthews. John Tavares slides in the second position there. You saw his role in the playoffs as a shutdown guy. Yeah, okay, he's getting a little older, but he'll never lose the way he plays the game with his head. He's a really smart player. He still knows how to put the puck in the net, and he makes players around him better. He's done that his whole career, and he's got to continue to do that for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Well, still only 30 years old, like you said, almost hit 30 last year in 63 games. He's still at 26 goals.
Nobody's saying he's not good. Nobody's saying he doesn't produce. It's just in hindsight. We're not talking about what happened 2 years ago. We're talking about today. They haven't won in the 2 years that they've had him. So looking back makes you maybe pause for concern.
All right, Craig, where do you stand on this?
Well, the same place that I stood on that day. It was an unnecessary signing. It was not what the Toronto Maple Leafs needed. And, we talk about being built up the center. They're built up the center. They're not built anywhere else. They can't win. And so I get it. It was a lovely story. John Tavares is a terrific player. We all know that. This isn't about John Tavares. This is about the acquisition of John Tavares. And not only was it unnecessary, it also had an impact going forward on the salaries they have to pay Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner. It has not been a good move. And I get it all. Everybody loved it. What a great press conference to introduce John Tavares. And he's a terrific player. But the bottom line is, Toronto Maple Leafs have gone nowhere, and they will not go anywhere until they fix the other critical areas on their team. So John Tavares is not the issue here. The decision to sign John Tavares is the issue.
Well, and $11 million, obviously,
Craig,
at the time.
Sorry, Brian.
Go ahead, Carlo.
I just want to bring it up to Craig. Craig has always mentioned to me that it's not the player's job to fix the roster. It's the GM's job to fix the roster. And you bring in John Tavares. At the time, that's what the market called for, $11 million. And it's unfortunate, you heard guys like Jeff O'Neill and James Duthie talk about it earlier, that you have to have a number attached to a guy. And that'll always be something attached to John Tavares in a salary cap world. But you still got to look at the positives he brings to this team.
Well, and it wasn't John Tavares' fault that they traded Nazem Kadri and Freddie Anderson can't make stops in the biggest game come playoff time.
Okay. We're not knocking John Tavares. And we're not knocking John Tavares here. John Tavares is a really good player. It was unnecessary. And let me tell you this, Carlo. The market doesn't make decisions on who you sign and who you don't sign. That is a mistake in and of itself. And so it's not about John Tavares. It's about how you build your team. And they had Nazem Kadri, and we can all debate what happened after that. The bottom line is, it was a signing that has hurt and hindered and handcuffed the Toronto Maple Leafs because of the size.